Good morning, everyone, and welcome to SCC Radio, the home of Sheffield student news and conversation. With Fraser McLean,
Charlotte Cass,
and Matt Frost.
Today, we have the biggest stories facing the region, as well as a really interesting discussion for you all to enjoy.
Let's jump right in with our news section, right after a word from our sponsor.
Today in the news, an academy chain has been cleared of all financial wrongdoing after a police investigation. 3, 2, 1, go.
A statement has been released by the police stating that they are confident in learning more about the fatal stabbing of a father of three.
A beloved Sheffield band has announced their new album and tour dates. And new plans have been unveiled as to how drones could be used to combat the rising South Yorkshire crime rate. But first, our top story today is that the Wakefield Academy Trust has been cleared of any wrongdoing in light of a police investigation.
Suspicion was raised in relation to the finances of the company last September, when an abrupt announcement was made that they would no longer be running 21 of their locations, including the Sheffield-based Ewlands Academy. Our next story concerns the murder of a young father of three, Jarvin. Our next story concerns the murder of a young father of three.
The police have stated they are confident in catching his killer or killers, but have urged the public to come forward with nuggets of information that may assist them within the investigation.
Next, it has been revealed that South Yorkshire Police are looking into plans which will see drones used to combat the rising crimes in the Sheffield area.
The drones are going to take to the skies at night, scanning the ground for any suspicious activity. This is a trial of a planned national use of the technology.
And today's final story, the Arctic Monkeys have announced their 2018 tour and a new studio album titled Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino.
The band will be touring the nation and playing 2 dates in Sheffield on the 18th and 19th of September at the Fly DSA Arena.
This week we saw Daniel Ricciardo win the Chinese Grand Prix after Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel collided with each other, and Lewis Hamilton called his performance a disaster.
It has been a hard start to the F1 season for Lewis Hamilton, after finishing 4th this weekend and not having won a race yet this season, leaving him in 2nd place on the leaderboard below Sebastian Vettel.
In boxing news, heavyweight boxer Tyson Fury announced his long-anticipated return to the ring from 9th of June at Manchester Arena against an unconfirmed opponent.
Who do you want to see him fight?
I'd really like to see him fight AJ. I think that'll be a massive fight, but Joshua has his WBA mandatory challenger, Alexander Povetkin, to fight first, which leads Deontay Wilder open for a big showdown between Fury and Wilder. It'll be a really good fight.
At the Commonwealth Games in Australia, the England team win the gold in women's netball, beating the Australian favourites 52-51. It's my dream come true, says the head coach Neville.
Manchester City won the Premier League title on Sunday after Manchester United lost a shock 1-0 defeat to West Brom.
In a post-match interview, Jose Mourinho said that Manchester United overcomplicated things, which led to their defeat against West Brom. And that's all in the sport for today. Now we only have.
Now time for some tunes to get your day started right.
Good morning, guys. I hope everyone's having a good day so far. Morning, guys. I hope everyone's having a good day so far. You already know what time it is. It's time for our weekly discussion.
Today, the subject of the discussion will be flatmate horror. We asked you guys to tweet in your stories, and I must admit, some of them were intense. We took the time to sift through and find all of the worst ones. Hopefully, we'll try and give you some positive advice.
Okay, so the first story is about two rival flatmates who took it so far that a tree ended up in the opposition's flat.
I never understood how flats rivaled like this. See, in my accommodation it was calm and everyone just got along really, but how?
Like, what happened for a tree to end up in the argument and the fight for who's better?
Basically, it says here that both flats were filled with sports students, and the rugby team and the football team were constantly at each other's necks for which team's better.
It started off fun because they were always hosting iconic parties such as the Takedown. They were super dramatic and filled with testosterone. But one. It started off fun because they were always hosting iconic parties such as the Takedown, super dramatic and filled with testosterone. But one day, the footy lads wanted to show their strength.
They all came together and put a tree through the Ruby House's kitchen window.
Oh wow, that's quite something. I mean, I can understand why the footballers wanted to showcase their strength, but this is definitely a step too far.
Solutions. Well, first of all, don't put a tree through someone's window.
Yeah, I don't think I have much to say. Maybe keep the rivalry to the field.
Going back to what I was saying earlier, my flat didn't have tension, but in the beginning, I remember there being one occasion where there was almost a fight because one girl accidentally set the kitchen on fire.
Did that girl happen to be you?
No. What happened was, this girl had set up her toaster, but she'd put the instructions in the crumb tray.
She thought it was storage. So fast forward, someone goes to use her toaster and a fire starts.
The really important thing though, how was the toaster?
The toaster ended up
If you've just tuned in, we're talking about flatmate horror stories. Tweet us at Sheffield Campus Radio to get involved. We've got more coming after the break.
And if you feel like you've got an interesting discussion that we should talk about, email us at scc.org.uk for more.
We asked you to vote on a topic, and roommate horror stories by far won. Our Twitter has been going mad for the last couple of days with the story submissions.
We've talked about toasters that divided the flat, rugby versus football, and I think the worst submission we had by far is the mouldy kitchen.
Now this story is quite something, and we didn't...
Okay, so it says here, I've had problems with my flatmates since I joined my uni, and I'm in third year. But when I was in my first, I lived in halls just like everybody else.
There's one girl and she'd always leave her pots and plates all over.
This doesn't sound too bad, but one day I was cooking and I saw her grab a pot that had been used for some spaghetti or something ages ago. She'd left it there for so long that there was mould in the pot.
It's kind of disgusting.
And I watched her empty the pot, but she didn't wash it at all. She just left the mouldy floating in the sink.
Ugh.
That was strike one. I went to her room one day to borrow something, and literally every plate bowl had some form of moulding food in it, and she always complained that she was getting sick.
As a good Samaritan, I decided to mention to her that it's not helping her health that she's got all mouldy plates everywhere, to be honest. And they got into an argument and she reported me for bullying.
I had to go through so much to prove that I wasn't, and this is when I realised that some people just don't want help.
Wow, that is quite a story. So did you have to speak to the head of the building or something? Because I know usually they just give you a warning.
Yeah, so usually they just give you a warning and they keep an eye out on you, but because bullying was on the rise, they obviously had to deal with it in the harshest way possible. And she said that while she was going through all this and dealing with the stress from exams, she spoke to the girl one-on-one, and the girl just found the whole situation funny, and that's when she realised that not everyone's nice.
That really is the mature thing to do, because it would have been instinct for a lot of people to get really riled up and argue, which I suppose is a normal reaction to someone lying about you.
Exactly. Make sure you guys get involved on Twitter and continue to tweet us at SCC Radio. I mean, honestly, I would not know what to do if I was in that situation, especially me, because I get so stressed out when exams and that added pressure. Oh my gosh. What would you guys do?
I would have just tried to move out, trying to find a different flatmate who didn't leave Mackie pots everywhere.
Yeah, it's a good point. Or maybe just wash the pots yourself, swallow your pride a bit.
Yeah, but it's sort of that idea that, you're a grown woman. Wash your own pots, you dirty scrub.
And on that subject, we've had a special song request.
No Scrubs by TLC.
Now, we've had a couple of responses on Twitter. The first is Emil, who says, I think I'd go nuts and show them the room. I should have kicked her out for health and safety reasons.
Dilla said, if I was her, then I would have taken pictures of her room and the mess in the kitchen. What she did was vile, and so